Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, a big report just came out with Carnival Corporation and they reported on their fourth quarter earnings and where they stand. And then there's also some big announcements about ships being canceled. And even more kind of shocking is the ships they have on order. So one of the reasons I'm putting this out is I'm just going to want to ask the question, is Carnival Corporation in trouble? Let's go over the numbers that they just reported. So they reported a loss in the fourth quarter of $1.6 billion, which brings their current debt that they owe up to $34.5 billion. They owe this debt back to banks and investors, etc., etc. Carnival's last good year before the pandemic, they had a profit of $2.9 billion in 2019. So even if it reached the same numbers that they had in 2019 with the same profit margins, you can see it would take 10 years to pay off that debt, or most of that debt, if they put every single dime they made on the debt. Every profit, every cent. And you know that can't happen because at some point you gotta, bring your ships into dry dock. Things are gonna break down, engines are gonna break down, there's gonna be lawsuits, there's gonna be all kinds of things that pop up. Salary increases, etc., right? Stuff's gonna happen. And right now, they reported that their occupancy level was about 85% in the fourth quarter, which is up from the third quarter, but not up for what the market was expecting going into the holiday season and stuff like that. Now remember, Carnival owns 9 brands, right? So it's not just Carnival we're talking about. We're talking about Seabourn, Holland America, Princess Cruise Lines, P&O Cruise Lines, Cunard Cruise Lines. There's a whole pile of cruise lines under their belt. Now, over the past year, Carnival has said that they are trimming back some of their spending and their cost expenses, where they saved around $500 million in expenses. Remember free pizza 24 hours a day? Remember free room service, not a la carte room service? Remember all those kind of things? That's where they're trimming back their expenses and getting some of that money back. So as they do that, I believe they're also down to 1 turn down service a day on some of their lines. Not all of them, but some of them definitely. They are saving money that way. But one thing that kind of caught me off guard, one of the strategies for cutting costs and cutting back on their new ships they have coming out. Now remember, they got 9 brands. And of those entire 9 brands over the next 10 years on order, they only have 5 ships. That's not even 1 ship per brand in 10 years. So if you're wondering what their split is, so Carnival and Seabourn each have 1 ship coming out in 2023. Then we have Princess and Cunard coming out with 1 ship each in 2024. And then we have 1 more Sphere class, I believe, ordered in 2025 for Princess Cruise Lines. So 2 for Princess, 1 for Cunard, 1 for Seabourn, 1 for Carnival. That's all that's on the order books right now. And they're saying they're going to take a real hard, diligent, stringent look at ordering any new ships right now. That's not really what investors want to hear, but in a way it is. Investors want to hear they're saving money, they're cutting back costs so they can pay down that debt and pay out some money to the investors, but they also don't want to hear that the company is slowing its growth. And so it's kind of a mixed reaction. Now, how are the other cruise lines holding out? Okay, first off, let's go into what they had before the pandemic. So Carnival Corporation, known as the largest cruise company in the world, had 105 ships under its brand. Then the pandemic hit. And they ended up selling off a lot of ships and getting rid of ships, where they are currently down to 92 ships, with 3 more being moved out or sold or scrapped that they just announced this week, which means they'll be down to 89 ships. Not quite as, that's almost 20% of their fleet gone, right? Just gone in 2 years. Again, is that what investors want to hear? Does that instill confidence in your company? Now, to be fair, a lot of the ships they got rid of were the much less economic, much more expensive to run, smaller ships, less fuel efficient, didn't have as many cabins on board, so the cost ratio from passenger to profit was not there comparatively wise. But it's also a visual and an expectation thing, right? When people see a company cutting back and not kind of expanding. When they cut back, people are saying they're in trouble. They're financially in trouble, right? When they're expanding and getting more ships and stuff, they're a company on the rise. They're somebody to follow, right? Whoever invested in a company who's not making the profits they used to make and is cutting back everywhere, you kind of see where the hard part is. But they kind of have to do it because they need to cut back and make some profit and get that debt back down. Now, how do the new ship orders look for their competitors? Let's do the top 3. Royal Caribbean, which has 3 lines like Celebrity Cruise Line, has 8 ships on order over its 3 lines, due by 2026. So basically, in the next 4 years, they're going to have 8 more ships as part of its brand. 4, I think, were Royal Caribbean, and at least 2 were Celebrity Cruise ships coming out. NCL has 8 ships over its 3 brands on order, all due by 2027. And then MSC has just launched an all-new luxury line spin-off of their cruise line, but they have 10 ships on order currently, all due by 2028. And you can see they're looking at expanding into Galveston. They are putting 5 ships, I believe, down in Florida this year. They're expanding everywhere. MSC is looking to expand everywhere. So they're growing and look like they're trying to grow. And Carnival's now putting out that, hey, we're slowing down, we're cutting expenses, we're going to be more economic. We'll see what investors think of that. And what do you guys think of that in the future, right? With, hey, if Carnival only brings out 1 new ship over the next 8 years, I mean, it takes, say, 3 to 4 years to build a ship, even if they ordered one today. And there's currently no other ships on order. So if there's no big real announcement for, say, Carnival itself, Carnival Corp, Carnival Cruise Line, and they bring 1 new ship out next year and then nothing for, say, 4 or 5 years, will there be any excitement launched? Look at the excitement when the Mardi Gras pulled into port. People all went down to the port to look at the brand new ship. New ships bring excitement and attention to your cruise line. And they can also be built more fuel efficient, more economical, and make a better profit. But when you already have ships that are there, built and paid for, you want to get the most bang from your buck and not have more expenses along the way. Remember, these ships cost upwards of $1 billion to build. And if they were to build 10 new ships, that's $10 billion more that they have to spend even before the ship arrives. And that just hits back on the debt. So, but it's not all bad news. So Carnival says with its restructuring and ship size increases, their capacity for passengers in 2023, even though they've lost all those ships, is going to be up 3.3% because they lose a ship that holds around 1,500 passengers and they brought in a ship like the Mardi Gras that can hold 5,000 passengers. It makes a big profit difference and ups your capacity. And don't forget, even Holland America this year brought out one of their brand new ships, the Rotterdam, beautiful ship. It's also one of the largest one. It's basically the largest one in their fleet. Then Princess also brought out, Royal class ships as well. Their largest current ship in the fleet, but they're building an even bigger ship, the Sphere class, the Sun Princess, which is their next two ships coming out. So capacity can still go up, which means profits can still go up. And if prices increase, then that profits can still go up. But you got to remember right now, in the current climate we are in, prices are skyrocketing. Food is skyrocketing, shelter is skyrocketing, and people are less and less looking to spend a ton of money. Now, how is the investors taking this news so far over the last month or so? Well, currently I checked, and the stock price, as I checked this morning, is down around 3% to a price tag of about $7.60 a share. Now that's down from $10 a share just 20 days ago this month. $10 to $7.60 after their quarterly report and their announcements of less ships being built down the road as well. Now, one thing they do have, they did have strong bookings during their Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales, and it's continued, they say, into December. The better news is that wave season is coming up. Now, if you don't know what wave season is, that's the season begins around January, lasts about 2.5, 3 months, and that's when pretty much most people start booking forward, because 2024 is out for a lot of the companies and everything, and people are looking to book their summer vacations and their next holiday vacations. So we see a lot of bookings in that period of the year. In fact, that period of the year can account to over 70% of the bookings for the entire year. And so it can make or break a cruise ship's year right there. And it will also let you know, if you sell a lot in those months, are you going to have to drop prices later on in the future? Well, if you've sold 80% of your fleet, then you don't have to drop prices. You can raise prices, and those last minute shoppers will pay those prices because that's all that's available. So there is some good news in there. Do I think they're in trouble? I do think they're in a bit of trouble with the amount of money that they've invested. Now, Carnival itself, rightly or wrongly, is often referred to as the cheap cruise line, the inexpensive cruise line, the Walmart of cruising, if you will, rightly or wrongly, right? They have some gorgeous, gorgeous ships like the Mardi Gras. Those ships are nice. Those ships are very, very beautiful. And they're attracting a lot of new clients to those ships. They also have brands like Princess Cruise Lines that's known for service and good food and high standards, just like Holland America. They're known for music and good food on board and quality of service. So those lines are not cutting back. They're not known as like the Walmart of cruising. They're known as higher end premium cruise lines. And so will this affect all of Carnival's corporation's downturn, if you will? I don't think so. I think those brands are going to do quite well, as long as they maintain their standards, maintain their food, maintain their service on board. Because for Princess and Holland America, those brands, it's all about the destination and the service. Where Carnival is known as the fun ships, right? Completely different atmosphere, completely different type of client. And so I think if they promote those companies, I think they have a really good chance. And I really hope that the new Sphere class for Princess can come out and make as big a hit as, say, the Celebrity Edge class ships did for Celebrity, right? Come out with that high-end clientele, beautiful areas, beautiful ships, all new entertainment, good food, good experience. If they do that, I think Carnival will be okay in the long run. Doesn't mean it's not going to be short-term pain for long-term gain. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think they're in trouble? Do you think they can turn this around? Do you think cutting back on the ships is the right idea? Or should they say, hey, we need some more Mardi Gras class ships and Sphere class ships and Pinnacle class ships for all in America? Or do you think, no, they need to cut back their expenses? Let me know in the comments down below, and until next time, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. We'll see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world. Hit that subscribe button, and until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation, especially if you're driving out there. We've got nothing but freezing rain, under snow, and then over snow. It's gonna be a mess.